Hello everybody and welcome to the Euro Titans Championship here in the Bahrain International Circuit, BIC for short, but this is no pen. This is one of the pinnacles of motorsport, being F1, and one of the fantastic circuits that are enabled to host such an event. But we're here for round 6 in Bahrain, 29 laps to come following this qualifying session, and we do join in halfway through it. 14 cars there setting a lap time so far. The current rundown then: FRT Harvey for FRT in that Mercedes. BRT Jaeger, he currently takes second spot at the moment. It's very tight at the top there between the lap times as well. Liam Hardman for AlphaTauri, the Total Impact Racing, he's currently third. Good start for him at the present moment. Tito for CPI, AMS Sparks fifth. Tonio for FGE in that McLaren currently occupies sixth position on the road. Paul for ABS seventh. I'm going to call him Bell. Don't know. Oh no. Bellarafo. Wow, God, fantastic name that. But he's also representing FRT this evening. He's currently 8th. Simon 9th, AMS Kieran 10. And then we've got the NLR boys of Matt Guest, who is, I believe it's his first time here this evening, starting for the team. He currently is 11th. Charles Sutton 12th. He's becoming an NLR favourite here, representing the eSport teams on numerous occasions now. He's done pretty well so far as well. Giovanni then, the man who finished third last time out in Mexico, hopefully going to replicate those results, or if not, go two better and take the win. But he currently is 13th. Ablett is 14th. Brent is 15th. Sornick 16th. And Tyler 17th. And still 3 cars yet to set a lap time. I've been immediately corrected. 2 cars yet to set a lap time. Who's that? Where did he just go? Somewhere further up the grid. It was Knacker. He's gone 9th then for the time being. I'll push the guys below him down a few spots. But there we are. Qualifying underway. Their first runs, I believe, have all been set, so we should have some fairly representative lap times on the board. Then we'll ride on board with Bourbon Boy. Never mind, he's coming straight into the pits, so he's still not going to set a lap time as of yet. Then we'll switch. Instead, we'll switch to the Ferrari then of Giovanni, currently coming round the final corner. I think this could be an in-lap as well, so I've got a funny feeling he's going to head towards that pit. Yes, he absolutely is. So never mind. Let's try and find a driver then who is out on circuit, ready to set another flying run, probably the second flying run for many. It could potentially even it won't be their third. I think that's too wishful thinking, isn't it? No, it should be coming up for their second flying run now. Let's have a little look then. We're right on board then with Bella, representing FRT for the first time tonight. And he's hoping to make a pretty good impression. His teammate currently provisional pole, as a flurry of cars have just made their way out onto the circuit. You can see it there down towards the first couple of corners and up towards the fourth. But for the moment, we're going to ride on board here with Bellarafo. Actually, it does roll off the tongue quite nicely when you think about it. DRS there, flapped wide open. He's missed the apex just a little bit into turn 1, through the kinks of 2 and 3, and up the rise towards turn 4. What's this going to be when we hit the end of sector 1? Is he up or down on his lap time? It looks fairly clean so far, but doesn't always mean it's the fastest. But it doesn't look slow either, if I'm being completely honest. And it's not. He's almost 2 tenths up on his current time that he has set. I believe that could be a purple sector 1 for him as well. So Bellarafo looking to certainly set the timing sheets alight. I'm sure he'll give it his best. Down towards 9 and the tricky turn 10 there. Easy to lock a front wheel up and run it wide off the circuit, but he's managed to do it very nicely and cleanly. And so far, this lap's looking pretty good. Pretty tidy then for the man for FRT. And Mercedes driver then looking to see what his time will be when he hits that start-finish line. Finishing sector 2, still only a couple of tenths up. Where would that put him? It's going to hit him around about sort of the top 5. He's now going to get a big tow from his teammate then, down towards the penultimate corner, the last corner I should say. I wonder if that's helped him on his ways. Runs it almost off the circuit there, through the final corner of 15, up to the line. He's 3 tenths up. Where's that put him? It doesn't matter because he's invalidated, so now he can actually help his teammate. get a little toe down the back, or down the start, finish straight I should say. I'll tell you what then, why don't we ride on board with the provisional pole man, his teammate. Coming up to a little bit of traffic then, up the rise towards turn 4, the highest point of the circuit. And then it does dip back down once again before it takes a little rise up towards the final sector. Car's getting nicely out the way so far then for Harvey, as he makes his way through the hairpin here of 8. Easy one to mess up as well, but you do have a nice bit of camber helping you round the corner, so you can fire it in, hope the car sticks, and then get some. It's a good place for overtaking, I should say. It's very easy to, it can be very easy to do, it can obviously be very tricky to do, but yeah, Harvey there looking to make nice easy work of it. He's fired it down the back straight, and he's now making his way towards the final sector through the S's then, here at the end of sector 2. And then up towards the right, he's massively backed off and slowed down, so that's his lap done then, as Jaeger has pipped him then for a provisional pole position. So BRT taking it away from the FRTs, and then Jaeger, your current provisional pole man. We've still got a way to go though, so it could still change at the top, and it probably will do, but there's not a lot of time separating all of these drivers. TIR, Liam Hardman, put in an absolute banger of a lap there to stick it third on the row at the moment. So he's looking pretty handy in that Alpha Tauri. But we still have a little bit of time left, so it could all still change. But for the moment, I think he'd be very happy with himself looking at that sort of lap time he's managed to pull out the bag. In terms of sort of the constructors of it all, we've got the Bunga Bunga team, the 88 points clear out in front over the next team of ABS, which have now found their way up into second place. But from ABS all the way down to FGE, so from second all the way to fifth, is only 39 points separating them. So that coveted battle for the last few constructor positions is very hotly debated over, as there's not a lot of points between the four of them. Oh, I'll get my numbers there in the end. I managed it, but yeah, there's not a lot between the four of them. ABS Paul, he set a good lap time, and he takes away third from Liam. As we finish on board with Simon, I don't think he's finishing this lap. No, he's not. Let's have a look then. Who else is on a current flying run? AMS Kieran. He looked to be a tenth and a half, sorry, up in that first sector. Never mind, I think that's may have been a bit of false information. I think he could be on his in-lap, so getting ready. They're all sort of heading into the pits now. The last few stragglers probably making their way towards the pits. Maybe not for Naka. He appears to be a couple of tenths up on his fastest time. That would move him up by some considerable margin, sort of in the low top 10, maybe even the mid top 10. But here he goes through the final corner, gets it hooked up nicely, doesn't run it out too wide. It's looking pretty good. What's the time going to be as he crosses the line though? It's a 1:28.1, and that's good enough for third place. Found some extra time in that final sector there. He jumped up by a good few positions, found 4 tenths. Does he have the extra half a tenth? Or the extra 5/100ths of a second as he got it to then take away provisional pole. We'll see when they all get onto their final flying runs, but for the moment, Jaeger for the BRT, the Bunga Racing team, he currently takes provisional pole, and we are in a Bunga Racing team sandwich from the front of the field to the back of the field, as Bourbon Boy yet to set a lap time, but he is on an outlap, making his way through sector 2 now as we speak. But he's definitely out of sync with the rest of the field, so it'll be interesting to see if he does finish, if he goes on to start the next lap, and whether he'll set a representative lap time as well. But for the moment, we're just waiting for the field to head out onto the track to give us some more cars to look at and view, and then at the same time we'll see what sort of lap times everyone is still able to do. Yeah, still going a bit slowly there on his outlap, but he's entitled to do so. He's not holding anybody up. He's not needing to push it just yet. That red light still flashing away at the back of his car. Is this him revving up, getting ready to start a flying run? If he comes into the pits now, he does probably just have enough time to get in and out. But look at this, big flurry of action down at the pit stops. A few cars already out onto the circuit. But yeah, here we go. Here comes Bourbon Boy. This will be probably his final timed run. Looks to be pretty neat and tidy into the first corner. Got into the apex, which is good. And onto the rise up towards turn 4 then. Use as much of the track as he dares over that rumble strip. Make sure the car doesn't bottom out, but it looks to be doing a-okay for the moment. Now down the hill in through the S's. Make sure to clip the apexes but don't ride the curb. It will unsettle the car. You can quite easily spin it. Immediately takes as much entry curb as he can. Straightens out the corner as much as possible over the rise of 9 down towards 10. Tricky corner, easy to lock, and he has done. There it is in action. And Bourbon Boy locks the front left up on his entry to 10. And ultimately that will ruin his lap. So still yet to set a representative lap time is the BRT driver. He'll be a bit upset and annoyed, but he does have one last shot at it. He just got to charge the battery up and away he goes. So we'll see where he does finish in the end. He's got one final run at it, I would imagine, but not long left now. A couple of minutes to go. Everyone about to start their final flying runs. And this will determine then obviously the order of the race next time by or right on board then, who I believe will be the first man to finish qualifying, or if not, he'll be the one to he's on his final fly run. That's CPI Simon then, currently P9 for the moment. Makes his way through turn 4, looking neat and tidy there as well. All looking good so far. He's currently up then just a little bit on his fastest lap. Not by a lot, but it's an improvement nonetheless. As AMS Sparks from out of nowhere sets the provisional pole time of 1:28 dead. It's 0.77 to be precise. But yeah, didn't expect to see that one coming from him. So that's a good lap from him there. Yeah, takes provisional pole away for the moment. But there's still plenty of drivers out there that can and could shake things up. See how it pans out in just a short moment's time. Now down onto the back straight then comes Simon into the final corner. Has he got any time left in this lap of his to make it up? It's going to be close. He will be the first man. Well, not the first man across the line. Knacker's up there in P4. It's a good lap from him. He does improve. He goes above Matt Guest of NLR, but he slots in just behind his teammate, as his teammate actually takes provisional pole away from AMS Sparks. What a fantastic lap that is, and the first man into the 127s. Has anyone got a response? Right on board with Jaeger. Could be a man potentially to take pole position. We'll flick to FRT Harvey first though. Looks as though he's up on his lap time. Is it enough to take provisional pole away? It would have been, however, it wasn't valid. But Bourbon Boy, 127.8 out of nowhere, comes in, takes provisional pole. Has Jaeger, his teammate, got a response? I wonder. Has Paul got a response? He comes across the line next. He's actually into the pits, never mind. Jaeger's the last man that could potentially take that provisional pole away before Bourbon Boy converts it into an actual pole position. Through the final corner comes Jaeger on the run up to the line, and he's heading towards the pits. Well, there we go. From last to first goes Bourbon Boy. He only needed one lap, and by God he did it. And he has only gone and taken pole position as well in the process. Well done to him. And that's fantastic for BRT as well, as they pick up another pole position for this year. I don't know how many it is. I do not have the stats in front of me, but I know for certain it's more than 2. They had pole position in Britain. They've got pole position here. And I believe they've had it at another circuit as well. So another one to add to their tally as BRT continues their run of domination here in the ETC. And yeah, fantastic start from them. So there's your lineup for the race to come shortly. 29 laps around this Bahrain circuit. Bourbon Boy will take pole position. CPI Tito picks up P2. AMS Sparks a fantastic P3 for him and the Alien Motorsport outfit. Jaeger, Bourbon Boy's teammate, 4th. FRT Harvey, he'll have to settle for 5th. We'll have to see what he can do in the race. Naka 6th. ABS Paul is 7th. Giovanni 8th, but we know what he can do at the starts. Last week proved that. Liam Harmon, a good 9 then for Total Impact Racing. Charles Sutton rounds out the top 10. Then we have Simon, Kieran, Matt Guest, Tonio Ablett, Belleropho, I will get it eventually, Brent Sornick, and I will get the rest in just a moment. I did miss it, apologies. I'll tell you what, we'll hit the start button. We'll finish off. Who's rounding out the top then of these leads? Oh, it was Tyler. We had one left. I missed just the one. And it's Tyler for the Alfa Romeo team. So he will round out this grid for us. 19 drivers here though tonight. That's a good turnout. And that should mean plenty of action. So, 29 laps to come when we go green and underway. 15 corners, 9 to the right, 6 to the left, 3 DRS zones. So that gives us plenty of chance and opportunity to get some overtakes done around this 5.412 kilometre or 3.36 miles, depending on what side of the pond you hail from. But I'm looking very much forward to this. The run down to turn 1 from pole position is only 353 metres, but we do have a safety car probability here of 63% and a virtual of 38% based off of real world statistics. But being that it is a sim, being that it is an e-sport in a way, those chances could be considerably higher, as people's lives are not on the line, of course, so people can take the extra risk and reward aspect of that. So we'll have to see how that pans out in a few short moments' time when we do go green. But yeah, I'll tell them we'll come in here with a fact, as I do like to find them and generously gift my facts onto everybody. But Bahrain then, and a few of you may know this already, but is the first F1 race to ever be held in the Middle East. And it's one of the handful of current F1 circuits that a McLaren has yet to record a victory at. This one did throw me. First race here was held back in 2004 on the 4th of April. So the date reads 040404, and what shocked me most was actually the fact that it is started back in 2004. To me, Bahrain has always been a circuit very much related to the 2010s, especially the likes of the Mercedes having some fantastic battles here over the years, particularly Hamilton and Rosberg, when those two were a formidable team to be reckoned with. But yeah, I don't think of this circuit to be, you know, related to the early 2000s era. But enough of me blabbering on about facts. We're here to see some action, and there's all the 5 lights, and they're already gone as well, and they're off onto the start. Who's going to get a better getaway? BRT Bourbon Boy seems to have a pretty good start, covers off that inside line. AMS Sparks tries to take it round the outside. Tito's going to hold that inside line, being he had that to begin with, but Sparks around the outside takes away P2 away from Tito, but the battle's not over yet. Tito's going to try and fight it back. They're maybe going to go 3 wide, not quite. Bourbon Boy holds the position out for the moment. Jaeger trying to follow his teammate through, picking up some positions here early on. Naka, Giovanni and Paul, they've all got off to a pretty good start, and the fantastic news here is everyone is still facing in the correct direction. No big incidences or impacts between each other. That is what we do like to see, as Jaeger trying to find his way past Tito early on in this Grand Prix. I think Harvey may have a shot at the BRT driver down the back straight here. He's going to pick up the toe, pick up the slipstream from the guys in head. DRS not in activation just yet. A little wiggle there from Naka behind, but he's still slotted in quite nicely for the moment and the time being. So we'll get the action for what is happening under the, in terms of sort of tyre strategy. You can see there the vast majority, except 2, Tyler and Sornick, all onto that hard compound tyre. So it should be a fairly even playing field, and this really does come down to skill, grit, determination, and who's got the edge around a lap here. I do want that interval, don't I? What am I talking about? That's what I wanted to get rid of right there. Here we are. Oh no, apologies. Here we go. I'll get it right in the end. Sorry. Yeah, they're having a little look. Oh, there's a little bit of nose to tail from the guys here. What's that happening back there? Was that Matt having a lunge up the inside? No, it could have been one of the CPI drivers. They've dropped down. That's Simon dropping his way further down the field. I think maybe someone outbraked themselves just a bit there in towards turn one. Can be easily done, particularly if you really want to send a move on somebody up ahead. I think it was a bit wrong on that occasion, whatever occurred. I didn't quite see who was involved, but you have to think Simon was involved there, as he has dropped down the field a little bit. So he won't be happy whether it was his fault or not. But, oh, there's a big lock-up into turn 10. Who is that? Was that Harvey, or was that Jaeger locking up down there? Not too sure as of yet. The gap's somewhat, holding steady at the moment. We'll have to see who's going to be the break in the chain as we get deeper into this Grand Prix. Not even 2 laps done as of yet. Not been too much movement, though, for the time being. Fairly holding station between all of the drivers here. As we come towards the final corner. Jaeger still being not held up, but still holding behind Tito there for CPI in the AlphaTauri. He's holding his own quite nicely. I think AMS Sparks was the biggest winner in all of that. Managed to get the position up to P2 as Charles Sutton there sets the fastest lap. He's currently P10 at the moment. DRS will now be activated for all of these drivers within a second of the car in front. So this is crucial for everyone to stick in the train, as if you do drop out of it and behind it, it's very, very difficult to catch up. A little bit of a wide line there from Jaeger. I think he tried to avoid Tito in front, but that could make him vulnerable to Harvey behind. He's managed to gain a little bit, just a couple of tenths between the two drivers. Will he have a lunge? Not quite on this occasion. Harvey holding station, but he is very much up on the gearbox of Jaeger. Now down through 9 towards 10. Tricky braking zone. Everyone playing it sensible thus far. And they'll continue on down the back straight then. Sornick there just dropping off the pack at the back. 2.5 gap between him and his teammate. Liam Hardman having a very tough day by the looks of it so far. It looks as though he's lost a lot of positions in that opening couple of laps. But Harvey right up onto the gearbox once again of Jaeger. He's looking every which way to try and get past this BRT guy, because he knows that it's crucial to hold on to that DRS, especially if you're being held up by someone that could be slower, or at least you think might be slower than you. However, Jaeger will have that DRS to help defend. So very much the DRS somewhat neutralises this, but I think Harvey's going to go for the move anyway. They're side by side down towards turn 1. There's just enough room on the outside for Jaeger. He's going to have the inside line as they make their way up the hill, or has Harvey got the move done already? Yes, just about edges in front. He'll take P4 then away from Jaeger, as AMS Sparks weaving in Bourbon Boys mirrors there, having a little look in towards turn 4, and Tito following very closely behind still, as I think the NLR guys behind 7 and 8 of the ABS team of Giovanni and Paul look to be just trailing off it somewhat. I think Matt's managed to just get back within that second gap, which is good news for him if they want to continue this battle and move further forward in this race. I'll tell you what then, there you are. I'll give you the ERS if that's what you want. No problem at all. So I think we're going to ride back on board here with AMS Sparks. He is within 0.2 of a second. Got a big battery to use as well. You're very welcome, no worries. So, riding down this back straight towards the final corner. The gap less than 0.3 of a second. DRS activation zone coming up for AMS Sparks. He should have the pace over the Bourbon boy in front to get the move done. Looks to be spending a little bit of ERS to try and defend. But here comes Tito down the outside. And they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Let's hope they don't get it all wrong. AMS Sparks looking to get the cut back up towards the hill, and I think Bourbon Boy is going to lose 2 positions in one corner, and now AMS is going to go for the lead on Tito. Not quite, he's going to slot in just behind, but just like that, out of nowhere, Tito taking the lead. They were 3 wide into turn 1, and Bourbon Boy has lost 2 positions in one set of corners, and he's closely followed by Harvey behind. What's happened to his teammate Jaeger? He needed that rear gunner, and at the moment he's struggling just to keep with. Naka's even got through as well. Naka's up to P5 for FRC and that Red Bull team. And it's getting feisty at the top already. We're only 5 laps into this race, and already action unfolding everywhere you look. And the front 3 are separated by less than half a second. AMS Sparks looking incredibly racy behind Tito. He looks like he wants to take this lead away from the CPI driver, but Bourbon Boy still hot on the heels to these 2 out front. I'm amazed there's no contact. They're so close to one another, nose to tails. They're almost touching as they make their way round the circuit. It's less than a tenth between first and second. There's still no contact, which is amazing to see. Little wobble there from Sparks. This is the chance Bourbon Boy then will be wanting to have. I think he's already going to have the move done before the DRS zone, but now he does have that DRS crucially over Tito, but so does Sparks. Sparks then making the move down the start-finish straight, goes to the inside line, and he's going to take first place away from Tito, as this is backing the pack up a little bit somewhat behind. Everyone's getting a little bit frisky and feisty there, trying to get all the positions they can, with the field bunching up a bit at the front here. But Sparks then takes the lead away. There goes Naka up the inside of Harvey. Can he make that move stick? They're going to be side by side then, down towards 5 and through the S's. Not quite. Naka's going to edge it out. He's going to take 4th position away from Harvey. What a brilliant move, an opportunistic one that was from the man from FRC. Naka will be very happy of that indeed. He now finds himself in 4th position, and he can have a chance at chasing down the leaders right in front of him. All of these guys still within that DRS zone. The first kink in the armour is down towards 10-11, where Kieran has just dropped off a few seconds from Charles Sutton of NLR. But this top 10 nose to tail as they find their way through the back set of S's now in towards sector 3. Gap between Tito and Sparks though has opened up a little bit here. Has Sparks got something hidden up his sleeve, a little bit of extra pace that he's able to find, or has found even? Was unfortunately unable to take pole position, but certainly looked as though he had the pace to do so. As he's now going to try and defend from the guys behind. Tito, Bourbon Boy, they'll all have DRS over AMS Sparks. Are we going to see a move down towards turn 1? Little bit of weaving from all of them, but no moves on this occasion. I say they all follow neat and tidily. That's wide there for Giovanni and Paul, I believe, as well. Matt Guest able to find a position up. He's now in P8. Is he going to then go for the move on that Ferrari? He's almost being pushed off the circuit here by the Ferrari. Can he hold it around the outside? I don't think he's going to have the grip to do so. Little wobble there from Giovanni. Now, does he have the chance into the S's of 5, 6 and 7? I don't think he is on this occasion. He's going to have to slot in behind, but there's in a lot. Charles Sutton up the inside of that Ferrari of Paul. Has he got the move done? Not quite. He's not going to get the traction on exit, but we now have a virtual safety car. What has happened there to Bellerophon? I think he's maybe got caught napping, bottomed the car out, and it's flung him off way over to the left-hand side. I can't be for sure, can't be for certain, but he's lost a front wing. He's got no front wing on that Mercedes, but the virtual safety car deployed, so it doesn't bring the field together, but it does slow everyone to a set pace. But never mind, we're going green once again already, so already back under green racing conditions. Good news for us. I think that's bad news for Bellerophon. Maybe he was hoping a slightly longer one, or maybe even a full safety car so that he can stay within this race, but I think that's very much his race scuppered for the time being, unless he gets a bit lucky later on. However, the battle for the front still rages on. Tito not giving up, neither is Bourbon Boy or the guys further back. Is that going to be a move there? I think the Ferrari of Paul's going round the outside then of Matt Guest for NLRR. NLR, I'm sorry. And he's going to get the move done out towards turn 2 and 3. And he's made a position back up, but Matt is not giving that up quite so easy. I don't think he quite had the pace to get alongside, so he'll have to sit behind that Ferrari for the time being. Who is that nose to tail? It's Naka all over the back of Bourbon Boy. The BRT man coming under threat then from Naka for FRC. He's practically being pushed around into turn 10. And they are very much still nose to tail, all of these guys. Bourbon Boy, though, looks to have a good run on Tito. He's going to have that DRS, but so is Tito to help defend. Tito now looking for a move on AMS Sparks up the inside there of turn 11. And I think he's made the move stick rather nicely. Bourbon Boy's going to try and take opportunity and advantage of the situation before him. But I think AMS Sparks just able to get back onto the racing line and hold off the BRT driver for the time being. But this can go any which way. All it takes is one little mistake, one slight lock of a wheel, and there you have it. You've lost 3 positions. Bourbon Boy going to take back second place before the DRS comes into activation. But AMS Spark seems to have a very quick straight line speed car. Wow! How did he find that gap? I don't know. He's managed to get back into the front though and taken away first position. Tito side by side then with Bourbon Boy. They're going to be side by side up the hill through 2 and 3 and towards turn 4. Both going to have the DRS in activation. And Tito just coming out on top. Naka then looking for a move on BRT Bourbon Boy. And I think his teammate may be looking for a move on Harvey. There's action every way you look at it. And we're still not over. We're only 9 laps in. We've still got another 20 to go. And for the pit stops to take into effect as well. Naka trying to go round the outside of Bourbon Boy. Bourbon Boy holding it off for the moment through the turn 8. In towards 9 and 10. Tricky complex. Naka gets it all wrong. Almost into the back of the BRT man. He did very well to keep it from hitting him. But he is subsequently going to lose some positions for it. I think he's lost about 4 or 3. He'll be disappointed in himself. But I think he did very well to not go into the back of Bourbon Boy. So that was a brilliant save in my book. Naka got all the hard work to do once again, but he's done it before. There's nothing stopping him from doing it once again. He's going to have to fight his way through a couple of cars to get back to where he was, which was in this freeway battle, as there's a little bit of a gap between 3 and 4. All 4 first place. DRS then for Tito coming down the start-finish straight once again. He's going to have the pace to do it. And he's going to have it done before they even get to the braking zone. Slots in front of AMS Sparks. Sparks there looking to get a pretty good exit out of turn 1 through 2 and 3. I wonder if he'll try and mount an attack right back at Tito. I think he's going to go for it. Nope, thinks better of it this time by. And slots himself back into P2. Good move then from Tito. He takes the lead back to him. He takes the lead of this Grand Prix once again. But these guys all behind, hungry and looking for any position they can gain. FRC Harvey there, a little bit of a lock up into 8 as Jaeger almost goes into the back of him. Now down turn 10. As I say, very easy to lock it up. Naka showing that last lap that it is easily done. And he paid the price for it as well. Making their way through 11, 12, 13 now. The S's here on the second half of the circuit. And the gap between Bourbon Boy and Sparks, less than 0.2 of a second. And they're not even in a DRS activation zone. Bourbon Boy got plenty of battery to burn up and use should he need it. Now Sparks looks to be maybe mounting an attack back on Tito for the lead of this Grand Prix. Tito immediately trying to break the toe of the guys behind, weaving immediately to the right at the start of the straight, and he's trying to put it to good use. I think he did very much so, but it's not enough. Sparks has a very quick straight line speed car, but the tricky thing with this kind of racing is you want to attack, but you've also got to keep an eye on your wing mirrors as well. You easily have to defend in the same corner that you are trying to mount an attack as well. It's not easy to do. And that's Giovanni then going for a move. No, it's all gone wrong for all of them. There's been a bit of a pile up. They're all round. There's a couple of them round at turn 4. This is shaking things up immediately. AMS Spark seems to come off least worse there. Bourbon Boy Naka, I think, got caught up a bit in that. I wonder, is there damage on those cars? As Bourbon Boy, another position lost. And Naka right behind him. I think they may be okay. I think it may have just been a bit of a spin, and then the action afterwards, trying to avoid everything. Jaeger now takes the lead of this Grand Prix away from Sparks. I'm just trying to work out, have these guys got damage? Trying to focus on Naka's front wing. I think he's okay, but he's just a bit shaken, trying to get back up to speed. BRT, Bourbon Boy, I think the front wing of that Haas is okay as well for the time being, but it can be fairly tricky trying to get back up to speed, especially after something like that has just happened. Very easy to overdrive the car to try and gain some of that time back. So not what you want to do, of course, but it's just human nature. It comes natural to try and claw some of that time you just lost back. And you find very quickly you're overdriving the car and actually bleeding time out. But they're still in this race. They haven't had to pit, luckily and thankfully for them. So they'll still move forward and continue fighting on for now. But it's a big upset then for those two. Naka, that's his second one now that he's had a bit of unfortunate luck. He finds himself in P11, Bourbon Boy 8th, but can easily catch back up to the front here. Just needs to make a few moves, I say, like it's nothing. But we're nearing the halfway point of this Grand Prix. You're now going to have to start thinking about tyre strategy and who's going to blink first. And who wants track position or the slightly fresher tyres at the end of this Grand Prix. In my experience, track position is key around this circuit. The tyre wear doesn't play into effect as much as one might think. Obviously it ultimately depends on what tyre you're heading onto, but you'd imagine these hard running tyres are all going to switch onto the softer medium compound, as they do need to use two different sets of tyres during the race, during a Grand Prix weekend. Of course, if it's dry, if it is wet, then you can throw that rule basically out the window, but if it's dry, they have to use two sets of different compound tyres to give us a bit of entertainment, shake things up strategy-wise. I say that as everyone goes for the same strategy, and then you have the same problem as before, so it doesn't matter. But here we are, Formula 1, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic sport we all choose to watch and enjoy. And in some cases it can be very thrilling to enjoy. Giovanni then making a move up on Charles Sutton. Bit of action then for you guys. He's run off the circuit, has Giovanni. I wonder if he'll feel he's been pushed off there. He regains the position. Charles Sutton not giving it up though. He'll have that inside line in 4. And I think he'll get that position back. He certainly has done. Giovanni then slots back into 6th for the time being. But I wonder, I'm sure there'll be questions raised at the end from the NLR man of Sutton. He'll probably think that he was entitled to the line, and I'm sure Giovanni will say that he pushed him off the circuit, but that's for the stewards to decide, and that'll come after the final standings of this Grand Prix. But for the time being, no penalties for anybody yet on the grid, which is good news here. It makes things a lot easier for me when it gets to the end of this Grand Prix as to where people finish. But after stewards' reviews can affect the result, of course. But for the moment, we're looking all clean and tidy, which is what we want to see, is hard racing, hard action, all the way to the checkered flag, and that is certainly what is being put on for us so far this evening. But we do still have halfway to go, and I'm going to have a sip of a drink while I've got the chance. Well, there you are. I wondered who was going to do it, and my question has been answered. Giovanni, Tito, the first to blink. Two guys definitely still within a shout of a win of this Grand Prix. They're going to be going for the undercut on everybody in front. As that is Sonic, and I think he is Ghost. Yes, he is not Solid. So that should be nice and easy for Tito to get past him. as he doesn't appear to be here at the moment. Nope, definitely not here. Never mind. It's not the end of the world. What was that going on just there through turn 10? Who's that going wide round the outside? It's Liam Hardman. AlphaTauri gone very wide in turn 10. I'm guessing maybe he's locked the tyres into the corner and he just had to, you know, release the brake, let the car roll out as to not damage them too much. Although we are getting into pit stop territories. The first two have already gone for it. But now we should see a few more. I would imagine a few more coming in, this time by. Who's going to blink as we get past the start-finish line? There's the Ferrari of Paul. He's into the pits. Anybody else following him in? Yes, a few more. Here comes AMS Kieran. Behind him is Naka, also pitting in, trying to get a bit of an undercut on the guys who are out front entirely. That's Jaeger, Sparks, Harvey, Sutton, Matt Guest, Bourbon Boy are the ones really fighting for those top positions, the podiums, and of course the race win ultimately is what they're all aiming for this evening. Those are the guys still within a shout. Brent, the first of the McLarens, just tailing off only by a couple of seconds, but that's all it takes, especially round here. If you don't have that DRS, you are as good as toast. It's very difficult to catch up to a train. Unless, of course, you really do have the skill and the finesse to gain a couple of seconds every lap on your competitors ahead, DRS or not. But these guys so evenly balanced in talent and skill, it's very tricky to find that sort of gap between your competitors. So I think once you drop out of the DRS, it is very tricky to catch back up and overtake. Charles Sutton may begin to find that struggle now as he's out of the DRS zone of Harvey up front. The NLR driver being hustled by his teammate and Bourbon Boy looking to go for a move. I think he may have got a bit squirrely on the exit as we ride on board. Is he going to go for a move into the final corner? He's going to hold station for the time being. He'll have that DRS, but I wonder more are going to be firing into the pits now, this time by. Who's going to stay out for the minute? Matt Guest, Bourbon Boy stays out. Right, here comes the crucial bit. Where's Giovanni? Where's Paul coming out compared to the guys that have just pitted? Those are the ones fighting for this win. Naka finds himself in 15th for the moment. He should hopefully get a few more positions by the time the pit stops are completely rolled around. But there you go, fastest lap then. For the Ferrari, where's this going to put him out? Into turn one, there's the Haas of Jaeger. He was your provisional leader. So this is now a direct fight for the provisional lead of this Grand Prix. Giovanni's going to have the drive. He's got the slightly warmer tyre, but Jaeger's definitely fighting back. Giovanni not giving it up. They're going to go side by side through four. Jaeger on the outside line's not going to have the grip. He's going to fall victim to it. And that means Giovanni takes the provisional lead of this Grand Prix for the time being. Hot on the heels is the teammate of Giovanni, Paul, for the second ABS car. That Ferrari, he's now all over the back of the BRT man in the Haas. Tito following closely by Sparks, by Harvey. They're all within a couple of tenths of one another once again. But crucially for Giovanni, he pitted a couple laps earlier than Jaeger, but that has given him the undercut and is able to take the provisional lead of this Grand Prix, and that's crucial for him. He had a fantastic week last week. The only thing going against him right now is that battery life. He's going to need to try and conserve it as best he can. And here comes Jaeger then, maybe going to mount a move, but Giovanni from last week, he gained third there at Mexico. He's currently your provisional leader then at Bahrain, albeit he's very much under threat from Jaeger behind. I think that's going to be the move for the lead. It certainly will be. We've still got a couple cars going around at the moment. Bourbon Boy holding out for as long as he can. He's still the leader of this Grand Prix, but by the time the pit stops are cycled round, he will drop back down the order a little bit. Now, crucially for Giovanni, he wants to sit in that DRS zone of Jaeger, save the battery up as best he can, so that he can keep fighting for at least a podium position, because currently he does occupy one of those. There are cars behind him though, slightly fresher rubber. Sparks, Harvey, Sutton, all on a couple of laps fresher tyre than Giovanni, but he has got a rear gunner of his teammate, and that's ABS Paul. Pitted a lap after, but crucially has that lap extra on the guy, a lap on Giovanni, 1 lap down from the guys behind him, but that slightly fresher rubber will help him somewhat, and it is the rear gunner for this ABS outfit. They're looking pretty good at the moment, but crucially for Jaeger, and he's done it quite well here. He's used a lot of his battery to do it by the looks of it, but he's pulled out a second over ABS Giovanni. He's got right up to the back of the FRC man of Ablet. Ablet, that's an aggressive weave there. I think he was very much showing that he didn't want to be overtaken, because Ablet, I'd imagine, is going to want to come into the pit now. Yes, he is. Sensibly ducks in behind him. But crucially for Jaeger, fastest lap, but he also picks up the DRS down this start-finish straight. As Giovanni under threat, both of the ABS drivers under threat from Sparks. He's managed to get 2 moves in 1 straight. He finds himself now in P2. And he's got a little bit of a job here to get within the DRS of Jaeger up front. Currently your lead man of this Grand Prix, Harvey, going all the way to the track edge. And oh, there's a little bit of contact there. I wonder whose that was in terms of the fault. But crucially, it means Paul has gone round and Harvey is through, but I didn't quite see the angle that well. Whoa, there's another dive there for Harvey. He's going to make the move on Giovanni. Crucially, he wants it done. He wants to try and stick within AMS Sparks' DRS if he can, because he's already lost a fair amount of time, almost 2 seconds actually, compared. And Ablet, what's happened there at the back of the grid? Has he retired on track, or is that... I think that could have been a retirement on track, because if it was an incident and a crash, I think that may have been a safety car called. So, yeah, naughty, naughty, tut, tut, tut. But I am not. I haven't seen it. I can't be for certain. Look at that. Charles Sutton tries to go up the inside there of turn 13. He's now side by side with Giovanni. Apparently, a couple of laps does make a difference, and I was waffling on some absolute rubbish earlier on in this Grand Prix, because it looks to be Giovanni is suffering and struggling to stay ahead of these guys on the slightly fresher rubber. All the battery being used from everybody here, and Charles Sutton tries to make his way up into P4, and I think he has done, round the outside of that Ferrari car. He's made it stick, and he'll now go chasing after the front 3 once again. Jaeger, Sparks, Harvey. Sparks has actually managed to do the impossible. He's got within that DRS zone of the leader. And now we could have a nice fight for these last 10 laps for that win of the Grand Prix. Harvey sitting comfortably then in 3rd for the minute. He's just about built the gap up to the guys behind, as the pit stops has opened it up a little bit somewhat. Naka. Oh, there's contact there from Kieran behind, and it's had a ricochet knock-on effect, and it's made Tito spin round. That's not Naka's fault in my eyes. That is Kieran's fault. Obviously, I'm not a steward here, but just from the on-board there, it was a Constantina effect. Kieran into the back of Naka. It was then into the back of Tito. And he picks up a 5-second penalty. That will definitely be removed come the end of the Grand Prix post-race. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. But he currently sits P7 for the time being, chasing AMS Kieran, who's managed to find himself up into P6. He's now going to be very much under threat from the guys behind. Naka pulls out the slipstream. I think Matt Guess is going to pull out the slipstream of him as well. They're going to go 3 wide nearly. No, not quite. 2 wide into turn 1 is Naka and oh God, I've lost it. But boy, here comes Bourbon Boy anyway. He's been held up. That's not what he needed. Tito's managed to find his way through. Bourbon Boy very sensibly trying to not cause an incident there. He had to be patient and unfortunately was unable to pick up the positions he was looking for. But Tito, fantastically, round the outside of all of them, picks up a couple of easy positions there between the contact of Kieran and Naka, causing a little Constantine effect. It slowed it up. As Bourbon Boy then takes the position away from Tito, immediately through. He's found himself in P8. He's got the freshest tyres of all of them. He's got a lot of battery to use as well. Be interesting to keep an eye on that man. Let's watch what he does over these next few laps, because he is on a charge. He's got 9 laps to do it. It's not impossible, I'd say, to get up to the leaders, but he has got a bit of a gap to close after he gets past Matt Guest. You would imagine he's going to do it. He's got to get past the AMS driver, though, of Kieran first. He'll have the DRS to help him with that one. That's that. Looks to be a 3-second time penalty for Jaeger. And that does mean that the provisional leader of this race then will be Sparks, if we cross the finish line in the order it is, with the penalties as they are. And if they are correct, that will stand, of course. Bourbon Boy, I think he may be getting a little bit frustrated at this point. Didn't quite go for the move. He's going to try and go for the undercut then. And the switch back on Kieran. Going to hold it round the outside. He'll have the slipstream of Matt Guest up front, but he'll have the DRS to help him and enable him to get past, and he certainly does so fairly easy. Does Bourbon Boy. He's now in 7th position, chasing after Matt Guest for P6. And then I wonder, in the closing stages of this Grand Prix, what can he do in terms of that gap to the leaders out front? Giovanni just about holding on to Charles Sutton. He is just outside that DRS zone though, crucially. As all of these guys have all started to split up, they've got a little bit of a gap between each of them, making it difficult then to catch up and especially overtake in that sense as well. FGE Tonio, a couple of temps behind Tito for the Cedars Phoenix Igniters. Currently sits P9 and 10. He's all over the gearbox of that Alpine, pushing him round turn 13 there. He's going to want to get past this man as quickly as possible if he can, with the pace he's showing right there and then. I think Tito could be struggling with battery. Has a little flick and a look. Says, Tito, I'm here. He's seeing in his in the rear view mirrors of that Alpine. DRS now going to be in activation. And he's going to get the move done. I would imagine they're going to go, is this 3 wide down towards turn 1? Very tight here for Tonio. He's going to have the inside line though. Tito's still on his outside. Tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel rubbing, but that is A-OK here, as long as no one's being forced off. Tito then side by side with Kieran up towards the rise of 4. Has Kieran got the pace to go round the outside? He does, and I think Naka's going to follow him through as well. Tries to go round the outside of Tito. They're side to side towards turn 5. They're still side to side, I think. Maybe not quite. He's seceded the position. And Naka found his way through as they're now going to... No, it's all gone wrong. Paul is round. He's had a little bit of a scupper as Paul has not gone how he's wanted. There we are. As much as I am aware, you guys watch the stream to sort of get a little bit of the strategy of everyone. I'm trying not to just give it to you for free. It's very much here to cover the racing itself. Hence I don't normally have the ERS and the rev counter on the screen, as I try and keep it as sort of true to life as it would be if you were to watch on the TV yourself. So I'll give it to you on this occasion, but I'm not here to give you strategical information. I'm here to comment on things like this, and that is Matt Guest going up the inside of Giovanni, apologies. Could be confused for Giovinazzi, I'm sure, but Matt Guest making easy work of the move on the ABS driver. And he finds himself slipping further and further down the field is Giovanni. Antonio there having a little look. I think he may have got the move done on Kieran this time by. He finds himself in PA at present. He'll now go chasing after Giovanni next. But crucially, Bourbon Boy, he's found himself almost within that DRS window of Charles Sutton up ahead. I'll keep an eye on that as we come back to the action of these guys at the front of the field. Separated by less than a second, first to third. Sparks just pulling out the slipstream there. I think maybe he's trying to break the toe of Harvey behind, who's also done very well to get back within the DRS zone of these two out front. Then this does mean now we have a three-way battle for the lead of this Grand Prix. 3 different manufacturers as well, 3 different teams of course, and only 1 spot for glory. The other 2 will have to settle for second and third best. But it is podiums all round for these three. Should they finish where they are, even with Jaeger's penalty, I think that still puts him in P3 overall at the time being. The gap back to Charles, just a little bit over 3 seconds from Jaeger. They hold station at the moment. Harvey had a little look, weaved out the slipstream, thought about it maybe. I think he thought better of it for the time being. Still just happy to sit behind Jaeger. We got 5 laps to go? 6 laps to go, I think, including the one we've just begun. And things yet to be decided. I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop back here. Tonio and Kieran fighting it still for that P8 position. Tonio goes a little bit wide, gives the chance maybe to Kieran. No, not quite into turn 5, has to settle in behind for the time being. As he goes very wide, it does Kieran, and that gives Naka the opportunity round the outside, runs it a little bit wide, but I think that was to avoid a bit of contact between him and Kieran. He'll have this inside line then for the next corner, and he's actually already got the move done. So Naka takes 9th position away from Kieran, and he'll be looking to hunt down some positions further up the field. Bourbon Boy then, he closed the gap. He's up within a couple of tenths of Charles Sutton. Laps are 2 fresher than the guy in front for NLR. NLR having a pretty good result of it this week so far. 4 and 6th as it currently stands, which is a big improvement over the results they did have last week. But, you know, they've got their heads back up. They're not looking down into the dirt. They're going to keep plugging away, keeping at it. Bourbon Boy going to make an easy move there, as I think Harvey's actually managed to find his way around the outside of Sparks in towards turn 1. Jaeger still holding on to the lead of this Grand Prix for the moment. However, penalties looming over his head, that would drop him back. And actually, I think now it will drop him back behind his teammate of Bourbon Boy. So that drops him out of the podium positions at present. Bourbon Boy still on a charge. He's got 2 seconds to try and gain over the guys in front. He's got 2 laps fresher tyres than the guys in front, and these guys are squabbling as well for the positions here, for the win as well. I don't blame them for squabbling, but it doesn't help as a man behind you, he's running quicker, he's got fresher tyres than you, and he should get you quite easily should he catch up as well. So these 2 fighting, or these 3 fighting, not what they need. Bourbon Boy will be hot on the hills, I'm sure, towards the end of the Grand Prix. Naka there, just saw it dip to a 10th behind Tonio. He's still a couple of tenths behind Tonio through the S's then on the latter half of this course, of this track even, through turn 13, onto the back straight towards the final corner. Gap still 3/10 of a second between Naka and Tonio. Naka should get the DRS over Tonio in front, who actually is just outside, I believe, of the DRS zone, so he probably will be a sitting duck. Well, right on board then, DRS will be in activation. That little red light there flashing as well, so he'll get the move nice and easy. Will Naka past Tonio, slots back onto the racing line, and here easy work for the FRC man, as we have had a change for the lead. FRT, apologies, Harvey takes first place. AMS Sparks following him through. Jaeger dropped down to 3rd now, and his teammate only 1.7 seconds behind, so the gap is closing little bit by little bit. Jaeger not out of this yet. He'll cling on to the back of this little group that has formed, but this is now the chance, as Harvey got the pace, got the speed to pull away if he can. I think he'll be laughing all the way to that checkered flag. The gap still hovering at just about half a second. DRS in activation for Sparks, so I think he'll have to give it another lap. The chance really to get the move done is in that sort of beginning of sector 2. If you can break the toe, break that second gap between you and the guy behind, that's your opportunity to do so. So it will be another lap here, end of lap 26, the start of 27, 3 laps to go then, and we still don't know who is going to win it just yet. Bourbon Boy has managed to get within a second of his teammate. He won't have it for this straight, but for the next one he certainly will. That gives him a good chance to slingshot past and potentially chase down the lead and win of this Grand Prix. Charles Sutton, though, certainly hasn't given up. Neither has Matt Guest, his teammate, as they are still hot on the heels of Bourbon Boy, following in his DRS train that he has now made. And he is the lead engine, pulling them all along. The little carriages lining up behind. But NLR will be very happy with that. They certainly won't be upset being pulled along, even if it is by a rival team. It means that they then have a chance of gaining a few more positions further up the road, away from maybe somebody else, even if it is not the guy that they are directly following right now. Bourbon Boy there, just dipping out of that gap though, the 1 second band that he desperately needed to be in. And that does mean though that he will have to wait another lap probably to get back within the zone. And those laps going further on, deeper into the Grand Prix, they will start to lose their grip further on. And it does mean that the playing field does begin to level out bit by bit, lap by lap. Does crucially still have the freshest rubber though of the guys around him, so he does have the best shot if he can catch back up to them, and I think he certainly has done. He'll have DRS down this start finish straight, and that's crucial, as I think as it is the biggest DRS zone of the circuit. It does allow you to easily close up behind the guys in front of you. AMS Sparks almost into the gearbox there of FRT Harvey. Almost into the back of him, pulls out of the slipstream rather erratically, but no problems for the moment. He's still happy to sit behind. Oh, a little bit of contact there though. He's lost a little bit of grip. This is going to give him a chance as well from it, but I don't think there was enough time and space to get alongside the Mercedes. So the Aston Martin's just going to have to sit in behind for the moment. He's being pushed round by the two BRT mans. Jaeger and Bourbon Boy third and fourth currently. They've closed right up to this lead now. Lap 28. And there's a mistake from Bourbon Boy. He's gone deep into turn 10. That's going to give Charles Sutton the chance. He's alongside. They're both going to have the DRS. Who's going to have the straight line speed? It's going to be Bourbon Boy winning out for the moment. So he'll slot back in to P4. He's still within DRS of his teammate up ahead. And crucially, the battle then for the lead. Do not go anywhere. We've got one lap to go. This is the end of the penultimate, and I still don't know who's going to win it just as of yet. There is less than a second within, well, less than a second and a half, definitely, from 1 to 6. It's still anybody's game. Harvey is the man out front. He's not got the most battery out of them. The honour of that does go to Sparks. DRS going to be an activation. He's trying to break the toe as best he can. Down towards turn 1 goes Sparks. He's going to have the lead then. Jaeger going to try and fight alongside Harvey. No, there's contact behind. Bourbon Boy's been spun round by the Williams. I think it was Sutton. That means his chances have definitely gone. They've been scuppered. I think he'll hold on to 6th nonetheless, but I think that's his chances of a win gone for sure. Sparks out front managed to take the lead away from Harvey. Very hard fought for this race has been between all of these drivers, especially at the front end of this grid. And it's not over yet. One DRS zone left for Harvey. Has he got enough in the tank? Has he got enough battery to fire it down this straight? He'll have the DRS over Sparks up ahead. Has he got the straight line speed to try and pull up alongside? I don't think he is going to on this occasion. Very much was the last real overtaking opportunity of this race. He'll make his way through 11 and 12 and 13 all coming in quick succession. Last real chance will be the final corner, but it's not one you normally get the move done on. No DRS helping the Mercedes man. The gap, I think, is too large to make a lunge of it. So that does mean your winner, as they come down towards the checkered flag and across the line, is going to be an amazing victory for Sparks. Harvey will have to take 2nd place. Jaeger with his penalty will drop down. That puts Charles Sutton into 3rd for the time being. Matt Guest in 4th. Bourbon Boy 5th. 6th is Jaeger. Simon 7. Tonio 8. Kieran 9. Naka finishes 10th. Tito 11th. Brent 12th. Liam Hardman is coming home, bringing it home in 13. Tyler 14. Giovanni for ABS. It's not been a day for him in the end. and especially his teammate. It's been a woeful afternoon in the end for these guys. They'll bring it home 15-16 as we wait for Sornik and Bellerophon to finish. Sornik still not here. We'll then wait for Bellerophon to finish this Grand Prix out, the final man to come across the line. But what a result, what a finish to that Grand Prix. Do you know what I need to do? I need to work out, if I can, real quick, who's gained the most in all of that. Here we are. Matt Guest has definitely been the biggest gainer. So's Charles Sutton. Both had brilliant races, each of them. Oh, I've got to pick my driver of the day. Oh, it's going to be a tough one, actually, because all of them have done incredibly well. I'll tell you what, let me see the final results once again, and I'll give my verdict as we round out the Bahrain Grand Prix. The game's going to give it to Charles Sutton. And I'll tell you who I'm going to give it to. Just a few short moments. Well done, though, to everyone. Brilliant racing from everyone as well. And there we are. Sparks takes the win. Harvey will have to settle for second. And an unlikely third. For the time being, results may change, of course. Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Look at that. Brilliant racing from all of them, really. You know what? I think it's got to be Sparks. I think it has to be. He played it very well today. He was unlucky to not get pole position. Was snatched away from him right at the end. So he will be my driver of the day. He held it up there through the entire session, was battling for the lead pretty much the entire way. Harvey fought well, he fought hard, but AMS prevailed and takes that win. So well done to everyone, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone that does give me a follow. I do appreciate them all, and we'll be back here next week, same time. Let me just find out what circuit we'll be heading to for round 7 of the Euro Titans Championship. It's hotting up here, isn't it? Round 7 is going to be Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Be here same time next week, and we'll see you for then. But thank you very much for watching. My name is Ashley. I've been your host for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have, and goodbye.